He is here now. I love it. I got worried, had that anxiety that he might not make it because he does have a lot of stuff going on. You know him from The Issue Is, seen all over California when it comes to politics, access to newsmakers. He is just the best. Elex Michaelson from Fox 11 in Los Angeles. Hello, sir.
Hey, Mark. Good to be with you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, sir. You've got, I think, a conversation about Prop 1 this week on your show, don't you?
We're talking Prop 1 with Senator Alex Padilla. We're talking Prop 47 with the mayor of San Jose, Matt Mahan, who thinks that it's time to amend that. And we're talking about reparations and specifically reparations in the city of Palm Springs with Areva Martin, with a real specific case there. So we're trying to get as many
everybody because it's coming up on the ballot, Prop 1 and 47. Just give us a second on those because they're significant.
We're trying to get as many hot button issues into one thing just to piss off as many people as possible.
Very well done.
Prop 1 is on the ballot on March 5th. So those are the ballots that have already gone out to everybody. And essentially what it is a bond that would help to build about 11,000 mental health treatment beds. And it would also allow for existing money and funds to be moved into more mental health strategies. Essentially, what lawmakers are saying is that homelessness is our biggest issue, and a huge part of homelessness is mental health. And that we as California have essentially failed on mental health treatment since the 1960s, when then Governor Reagan helped to close the mental health hospitals. The thought then would be that there would be new treatment facilities and new ways to help people, because they thought that what was happening in some of these mental health hospitals was, inappropriate. But that never really happened. And so you look at many of the homeless people on the street who clearly need help, and there's really no mechanism to force them to get the help. And even if you do get them the help, there's no place to put them. So the effort on this idea of care courts, which is something else that the governor and the legislature has been working on the last couple of years, is a mechanism to try to force people to get treatment if they resist it and are a danger to themselves and a danger to others. And Prop 1 is to create a place for them to go, for there to be beds to adequately deal with what's clearly a real problem.
And to Prop 47?
Prop 47 is something that was passed 10 years ago by Californians. And essentially, that was the measure that changed the threshold for stealing stuff from stores. That if you stole something under $950, it would be a misdemeanor instead of a felony. That came at the time when our jails and prisons were so overcrowded that the United States Supreme Court said that it was cruel and unusual punishment to keep that many people locked up. And so there was Prop 47, there was 57, there were other measures to try to get more people out of jail. Well, a lot of folks say, good concept, but the execution isn't working so well. So part of what the mayor of San Jose, the mayor of San Francisco, and now a bunch of Republicans are working together to say is, look, part of the problem with Prop 47 is people steal, $900, not $950, and then they steal another $900. So they steal another, and it keeps accumulating, and they never really are taken behind bars in a serious way. This would help to change it so that if you aggregate a bunch of these different thefts, you can make it a felony. And try to have more serious punishments. That is something that would be for the November ballot, not for the March ballot, but is a real hot button issue in California.
Oh, yeah.
As we see when it comes to these criminal justice issues, our state has swung wildly like a pendulum back and forth, where we have locked up arguably too many people. And there's a lot of folks that felt like that was happening in the 90s with the 3 strikes laws and other things that sent a lot of people behind bars for a long time, to maybe going back the other way, where maybe there aren't enough people that are locked up and free of consequences. And so our state has constantly seen this back and forth. Oftentimes in the past, it was a back and forth between Republicans and Democrats. Now that the state is essentially completely run by Democrats, where they have super majorities in both houses, it's not even really about what Republicans think. It's about the divisions in the Democratic Party. And on the issue of Prop 47, you're starting to see some Democrats come out saying, we need to fix this.
Yeah, it's almost as though you make a good point. It's almost as though you look at the different wings of the Democratic Party, even though it's all one party.
Right.
There are obviously very different viewpoints within that party, and progressive policing, progressive prosecutions, they're sort of not so popular now as urban problems continue to affect cities. We have so many listeners and viewers around the San Francisco Bay Area. Same is true in LA, where they're trying to mount a real push to get rid of Gascon, who, San Francisco viewers know as well.
Right, and you look at what's happening in Oakland right now, where the governor had to bring in, some help from the state police, essentially, because that city has just been so unsafe, and there's been such a crime problem. You see this in the San Francisco mayor race, that it's not a lot of the progressives that are dominating that race, that it's more moderate candidates. So you see potentially a realignment a little bit in the Democratic Party on this issue, but that to be said, there's still a lot of progressives that feel like the policies of what happened in the 90s went way too far. There's a lot of people that feel like those policies were racist and disproportionately hurt the Black and brown community, that are supporters of Prop 47. Prop 47, by the way, was co-written by George Gascon in his previous role. Now he is the LA County District Attorney who is running for re-election. But there is a wing of the party that strongly believes in those policies and that are defending those policies. And so you're seeing that play out right now in the state. And you're right that Dem on Dem fight is frankly more interesting and probably more relevant at this point, with Republicans, so out of the mix.
Kim, did you have something?
I have some breaking news, actually, and it's news that we were waiting for, and something that is political in nature that you guys might want to discuss. The judge in the New York fraud trial has rendered a decision ordering Donald Trump to pay nearly $355 million in the civil fraud trial. In addition, Trump's sons must each pay $4 million. That would be Don Jr. and Eric were ordered to pay $4 million each after Judge Arthur Engoron found them liable for multiple fraud counts. So the judge has ordered former President Trump and his companies to pay nearly $355 million. Trump expected to appeal this decision. And while his appeal is considered, of course, we will get more information on this. But that is the judgment that we've been waiting for.
So this is to remind everybody this is the Trump Organization and Eric and Donald Trump. Obviously, Donald Trump Jr. I'm talking about. They were part of this, and it was a decade-long scheme as prosecutors presented the case, and it was, Elex, it was. I forget how long. I want to say it was days, not even a week, during which the judge said, Engoron said, the fraud is clear here. It's just a question of, what the penalty will be.
Right. And essentially what the allegation was that they were lying about their assets and the value of their assets to try to pay less in taxes and to try to make more money themselves. And so you add this on top of what happened with E. Jean Carroll, where he's now supposed to pay her $81 million, on top of also in New York State, March 25th, they're supposed to start the hush money porn star trial, on top of everything else that's happening in Georgia and Washington, on top of the fact that the guy is the Republican nominee.
It's wild. I mean, there's no stopping him.
Of this seems to help him. It feels like to people on the right that this is a pile-on, that these Democratic states with their Democratic prosecutors are trying to go after him and trying to stop him. And what he has been so good at doing is making people feel, and often saying, that when they come after me, they're really coming after you. Because I am here to be your voice. I am your retribution. I alone can fix it. And so they know that. They know how dangerous I am. They know what a danger I am, and which is why the deep state and the whole industry is coming after me, because they don't want me to represent you. And he has been so effective, and I know how you feel about that argument, but he has been so effective at making that argument to his base, which is, by the way, tens of millions of people, that he has created a stranglehold over the Republican Party, where he has total control over the party, where he's able to tell the Speaker of the House what to do, what not to do. And he's created a situation where being criminally charged is a political benefit. Now, we know Donald Trump likes his money. And he likes to be seen as rich. And you got to imagine he's not going to like this verdict. And it'll be interesting to see, how much money he really has. As we know, a lot of what he does is all about bravado and often is not based in truth. It's about the show. And this might be an example of how that, not basing it in truth and making it all about the show in a courtroom, can be devastating for you, because that's not the way that a courtroom works.
On what's really there with Trump, it's a lot less than he represents. And we talked about, and before he was even president, I was talking about the fact that The Apprentice really helped burnish the image of Trump as this billionaire with the slow motion shots as he got off the helicopter.
Money.
Yeah, money. And Mark Burnett, brilliant producer, and he really created this image. And Trump has been using that image for a long time, but he didn't have the power of a hit NBC show to make it happen and put him over the top. And now, as you say, he has this cultish following, and he has control of a party. I mean, it's all well and good to say, well, it's a cult, they'll believe whatever he tells them. But the GOP, as you rightly point out, they're really in his power. I mean, the power to derail bipartisan legislation, which has just happened at the border. I mean, this is a top priority for so many, and Trump got them to derail that legislation.
And also got them to, so far, derail legislation to help Ukraine, help Israel, help Taiwan. I mean, there was a time not that long ago where things like that would be very top priorities for Republicans and not necessarily for Democrats. And the fact that this bipartisan bill passed in the Senate, where essentially the senators were willing to buck Donald Trump to do it, and it now is languishing in the House, where the Speaker says we're not even going to put it up for a vote, shows the power of Donald Trump. We'll see if the Speaker is sort of railroaded on that and has to do it anyways. It could lead to the end of Speaker Mike Johnson's very short tenure as Speaker. But the power of Donald Trump is unlike anything I've seen in our lifetime. I mean, compared to any of the other presidents. It's really something. I was just out at a Nikki Haley event last week, because I interviewed her for The Issue Is out in Costa Mesa, and there were Trump supporters out front, and they just were very reminiscent of some of the sort of crazy religious Jesus people that are out on megaphones, saying stuff in your face. And it was just like replace Jesus with Donald Trump. And it felt like at least those people felt like they were just members of a cult. Now, we know that not all tens of millions of people that are Trump supporters are members of a cult, and there's all different reasons why people support Donald Trump. A lot of it is sending a middle finger to the system. A lot of it has to do with policy. A lot of it has to do with cultural identity. And a lot of it has to do with concerns about Joe Biden and his age. But there is an element of some of that, no doubt, in the party. And it's scary.
That's just a brilliant summary of the situation. And it's funny, as you talk about the age issue, they've really sold that so well, Trump and his people, when it comes to Joe Biden. Even though I thought Jon Stewart did a pretty good takedown. I was going to run it here, but I have to see if I get demonetized for running it. So I'll probably run it on Monday, where he just, all of the things that Donald Trump doesn't remember in deposition. Don't remember this, don't remember when I was married to Marla, don't remember any, and everybody in the Trump crew is just, it's a festival of I don't remember. But with, when there's some kind of any misstep on the part of Biden, they're able to sell that. But as you suggest, it fits in cleanly into the narrative that they've been pushing, and that the followers are all too willing to swallow. Albert, just because Elex mentioned the Nikki Haley. Do you have that Nikki Haley clapback that her husband gave? I sent it to you. Nikki Haley's husband, who was invoked, to use the word that is so often used in the debates that you moderate. You were invoked, sir, so you have 30 seconds to respond. But the name of her husband was invoked by Trump on the stump, as this guy who, where is he? I don't know what the insinuation was, but I guess in any case, it wasn't positive. But he clapped back on X. Do you have it, Albert, or not?
Let me look. I don't see it here.
Oh, okay. I thought I sent it to you, but maybe I didn't. But essentially, and he's serving the country, right? He's
he's deployed overseas. The reason that he's not on the stump is because he's fighting for the United States of America overseas, which is not a secret. I mean, we talked about that the day before in my interview with her about what it means for her as a military spouse to have to, kiss her husband and watch him go off, potentially to fight in war zones. And the fact that he, one, either doesn't know that or is intentionally, trying to create the impression that maybe he doesn't really love her or all that. And then at the same time, where's Melania?
Yeah. This is what John Watts said. Where's Melania been hiding? Exactly.
I mean, she's appeared at her mom's funeral. It's among the only times that we've seen her. It was a weird projection to make that the focus when it's not like his wife is with him at every stump. And that's okay. The wife doesn't have to be there at every stump, but it just, it is a weird thing. And it is the kind of thing, Mark, that, for any other politician 10 years ago, that one thing, that one comment would probably end their career, right? Yeah. Because it would be seen as disrespectful of the military. It would be seen as ignorant of the facts. It would be seen as out of bounds. But with Trump, it barely registers.
Sure.
And it's on to the next thing.
Well, he's a guy who, you talk about disrespecting Gold Star families. I mean, my God, these people have died for the country. They have family members who've given their life. And, he can.
Right. And Nikki Haley's response was the most in danger that Donald Trump has ever been is a golf ball hitting him on while he's driving a golf cart.
I mean, these are crazy times. And now Trump
and she's getting killed.
We'll be bouncing from court to court. Eric and Donald Jr. apparently are barred from serving as officers or directors of any New York corporation for 2 years as part of the judgment. But I was saying the other day, the Trump organization likely barred from doing business in the state of New York. They're going to go into receivership, essentially. And the idea somehow that this is just one more thing. You'll remember, Elex, after they defrauded the cancer charity for kids, they're not allowed to set up a charity in the state of New York. Trump University, they paid $25 million, and they're barred from setting up any kind of academic institution.
Living in Florida. New York hasn't been very good to the Trump team.
Florida's where he wants to be. Anyway, it's going to be a very interesting time for you. The issue will air all over the state and we have viewers all over the state, so check out your local listings. And it's cool. Elex really does. You get some great conversations going. And as you just noted, some of the stuff is ahead of the news, like the Nikki Haley thing. So you've got Senator Padilla talking about Prop 1. You've got San Jose Mayor talking about Prop 47. And then, of course, reparations. We didn't even get to those. I'll look forward to hearing about that in Palm Springs.
If only Donald Trump would have watched The Issue Is last Friday night, he would have known, and he wouldn't have made that mistake. So there you go.
God, so true.
There's never been anything like this.
Alex, such a fan.
And this is their new hoax.
Yeah, all right. Good stuff, Alex. Love talking to you.
And
we'll see you next time. All right, good stuff, man. Thank you. Alex Michaelson, everyone. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.